E.G. here. Something today a bit different. It's, a fairly unknown story, but it's well documented in several books, including one by the very good historian Henry Pringle, and is also in detail documented by Police Gazette magazine. You see this young man here, he's age 21, his name William. He's a Yale graduate of the class of 1878. He was a member of the secret fraternity, Skull and Bones. That had been started by his father, Alfonso, and that fraternity later took in initiates like George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, and it took in W's 2004 Democratic opponent, John Kerry. Anyway, back to William. He was a Yale and intramural champion heavyweight wrestler, and he graduated second in his class. On this Sunday afternoon, May 2nd, 1879, William, who's now attending law school in Cincinnati, is walking with his brother Charles along a Cincinnati avenue when a newsboy for the Sunday News shouts out at the top of his voice the major headline of the day. And in it, he named William's and Charles's very prominent jurist father as subject of a scandal. Well, they walk up to the boy and demand, "Who told you to yell out those scurrilous words?" The frightened lad replied, "It was Mr. Rose." Lester A. Rose was proprietor of what was considered, at least by polite Ohio society, as a less than reputable publication. And Rose was a political adversary to William's and Charles's father, Alfonso. The brothers paid the newsboy for the paper. They read the story behind the headline. Although I should add here, the article, unlike what the newsboy was told to yell out, the article did not mention the family name. But it's very obvious to anybody living in Cincinnati, actually in all of Ohio, who this person was. So as they read, both William and Charles grow more and more incensed. Here's what Lester Rose wrote and published. An unnamed wife of a prominent Cincinnati jurist had sent him a letter to the editor, a letter that detailed serious domestic cruelty and suffering. Her husband, the prominent jurist, obviously William's and Charles's father, was, and I'm using the words printed, was unfaithful to the marriage vows and endeavored to inoculate her with his free love principles. And it went on to say, he had contracted, I'm using the words printed, a loathsome disease, obviously a venereal one, and that, and this is horrible, the husband, who had kissed the baby and the daughter on the cheek, had transferred the disease to the baby, which led to her death. American politics was and remains a very nasty vocation. Only today, the battles tend to be adjudicated in the court of public opinion or the courts of law, and not arenas for violence. But William and Charles, like before them Andrew Jackson, Aaron Burr, Preston Brooks, hundreds of others, preferred something more direct, manly. So the two brothers run over to Fifth Street, where the disreputable paper was housed, and they find Lester Rose cavorting outside the building with a woman of low repute. Now, according to the story, and printed in several books, William inquires of Rose, "Do you edit the paper?" Of course, he knew he did. Rose said yes, and at that point, William staggered him with a straight left to the chin. Then he follows up with a blizzard of lefts and rights to the head and body. Lester Rose, a large man himself, clinched William and pulled them both to the pavement. But William immediately pulled himself on top, and he continues to rain punches at, and I'm quoting the Gazette, a very lively rate. Now, some in the assembled crowd wanted to intervene, but Charles, himself rather imposing, demanded let them fight it out. Finally, William, having thrashed Rose soundly, grabs both of his ears and wrung them soundly. Then he gets up and he walks away with Charles. Rose was carried into the building, treated, and later a hack was called, or what we call today a cab, to drive him home to recover. As for the judge, Alfonso, whose reputation was and would remain pristine, he never talked about this article, and by the way, he never showed any physical deterioration that was common before penicillin for those who had venereal diseases. He would go on to eventually serve several U.S. presidents as Secretary of War and ambassadors to several countries. And his son William, who's really the subject here, William went on to become Vice President of the U.S. under Teddy Roosevelt, then President, 1909 to 1913. And later, he was Chief Justice of the Supreme Court after Warren Harding appointed him in 1921. And William served until 1930. Well, William's last name, Taft, William Howard Taft, one of the, in my opinion, better occupants of both positions of President and Chief Justice. And undisputed is this: Taft was the heaviest of all U.S. presidents and justices at 340 pounds, 154 kilos. They had to bring in a bathtub into the White House, able to hold 4 people. And that, boys and girls, is the story. Did you enjoy it? Hit the thumb up icon. I know it was a bit different. Also hit the bell icon. You'll be notified of new uploads. And do share this video on social media. Most important, though, comment below. Thank you.